Okay, what's up everybody? Can you all hear me? Let's do a little technical check before we get into this stuff. Last time for some reason the desktop audio wasn't working. Okay, can you guys hear the splendid performance track playing in the background? The Final Fantasy theme of the channel for this type of content? Perfect. Okay, sounds good. Okay, I think probably what we'll do first is to check out the trailer that came out yesterday during the PlayStation State of Play thing. It's only like 3 minutes long, so let's just watch the trailer for those who maybe haven't seen it yet, and then we can start discussing what's in the trailer. So we'll begin with that, and then we will talk about it. So let's fire it up. Okay, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Let's go.
Get down here, Merc.
You see that?
That's how ninjas do it.
Yep.
Okay, so there we go. That's the first trailer that we have for this. So what do we think? First of all, let's just talk about the whole PS5 upgrade, the stuff that they're offering for the PS5 upgrade. Honestly, like, yeah, I get it that they've shared these things with us about like the ways in which it's better. Honestly, I thought the PS4 version, other than some texture stuff, which obviously we all know, like the hotel door and stuff, which was hilariously bad, I always thought the PS4 version looked really nice anyway. So I don't think playing the PS5 version for the visual overhaul is going to be that huge. But that being said, it's weird, like lighting, for example. Look at how I saw a few things on Twitter where people they just exposed it more. Like, it's not that there's this incredible lighting overhaul. It's just brighter now than before, which I kind of found funny. And it does kind of look like that sometimes, but in some of the scenes you can definitely see some like difference in the reflections and that kind of stuff, and obviously the lighting, the HDR effects I think are going to be enhanced, and well, better textures as well is definitely going to be a good thing too. So all of that stuff, plus of course the frame rate upgrade. I mean, Final Fantasies get more and more action oriented, and there is obviously a lot of action in the battle, so I think 60 is definitely going to look a lot nicer as well. So that's obviously that sort of stuff. Now the quality of life stuff, I kind of I appreciated the fact that they've now got the classic mode in normal difficulty. This for me was actually quite good, because I mentioned in the playthrough that kind of demoting classic mode to being an easy mode only didn't feel right to me. So the fact that we have a normal classic mode, I definitely think is a good addition to the PS5 version. So that's something I'd probably want to experiment with if I get to play that version. So that's kind of cool. And loading times, yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that the PS5 loading times are just insane, which is obviously great. It's never been something that's bothered me too much, but having better loading times is of course great. Now, of course, for me, you guys that follow the channel know that I love my photo mode. And the fact that we have photo mode, it doesn't look super, I don't know how like detailed it's going to be. They show very basic sort of feudal things here, but the fact that it exists is definitely a good sign, and I'm going to be enjoying that. You can see some shots that they were taking here. It definitely looks a lot of fun. And I guess it will mean that it's there as standard probably for part 2, which is nice. So let's have a look at some comments, see what people are saying. Yeah, they're offering the PS5 upgrade for free, which is definitely good. I do think it looks better with the enhanced lighting. Yeah, I agree. The frame rate upgrade is really nice. Again, agreed. Watch it get pushed back 20 times. Love the photo mode. What we should have is another hard mode. What, like an even harder mode than hard mode, do you mean? I've never understood the point of photo mode unless you need thumbnails. I don't know, I think it's one of those things, because I'm into photography like outside of gaming anyway. For me it's just great, like being able to capture these cool moments. And of course the main thing is the fact that we get this episode Yuffie, and she's introduced for the first time, which I think is great because we knew she was coming, and the fact that we actually get to see like some more background for her and get to see her gameplay, it looks like it'll be a lot of fun. High action. I don't know how much story there's going to be. I'm not really sure what we're going to see in terms of like how long this episode will be. I mean, if we're looking at like Final Fantasy 15's episodes, they were between like 90 minutes and about 3 hours, I'd say. So I can't imagine it's going to be too much longer than that, I think, personally. But yeah, I mean, the character design for Yuffie, I'm definitely impressed with. It's good. I mean, they've pretty much nailed it, I think, for most of the character designs for the remake. I think they've done a great job, so I think that's good. What do we think of the Yuffie stuff so far? Yuffie lost the bun on her shorts. I think that's how it was originally, I'm not sure. But I think seeing like the original artwork, someone posted a picture of them two like next to each other, the original artwork and the remake version, and they look pretty, it looks like a pretty faithful design. Tifa will be absolutely abused in photo. You betcha. You betcha. One of my main complaints were the textures in PS4 versions. Hopefully they fix them later. I'm pretty certain. I think I saw a tweet about the door and like the door being fixed, and like someone joking about the fact that Square Enix is like trying to make a big deal out of, hey, look, we fixed the door, guys. Material loadouts would be a nice addition. Agreed. I heard all the DLC will still be available. Okay, so one of the main things I think that's worth talking about is, of course, this whole situation with new episode featuring Yuffie available for purchase after upgrading to the PlayStation 5 version. Now, from what from what I've heard, I'm pretty sure that it really is only available on the PS5. So those of us that have it on the PS4, we're not going to be able to play this extra Yuffie episode. I'm pretty sure that's how it is, but maybe eventually they'll release a bit more information about it, but I'm pretty sure you need a PS5 for it. So that's one of the main things I want to ask people, because I actually don't know that many people that have a PS5. Like, I think from my mod team, I don't think anyone has a PS5 yet. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that many. So for me personally, it's like, well, a few people are saying I heard the DLC is on PS4 too. I really hope that's the case. It's a major decision about whether or not it's on the PS4. I really hope it is. I mean, it should, in my opinion, it definitely should be on there. The game was released as a PS4 game. It's been a year and it's a DLC for a PS4 game, so it being PS5 exclusive just sounds wrong to me. I mean, surely there's got to be. It's not like this game is so incredibly next gen like this episode Yuffie. You don't look at it in the trailer and say, oh yes, this is definitely far beyond the PlayStation 4. It just doesn't sound right. So I don't know. To me, I hope they clarify it, and maybe if it is PlayStation 5 only, they kind of change their mind, or they have a way to make it work on PS4. But if not, I don't know. So I mean, for you guys that don't have a PS5, would you guys get a PS5 before this comes out just because the Yuffie DLC is in it? Like, personally, no. I'm not going to buy a PS5 just for a DLC at this point. Like I say, it could be like 2 or 3 hours long potentially. I'm sure it's a good DLC. I don't have a problem with that. But buying like a console or even trying to at this point, it just doesn't seem right to me. Like that just, it's hard enough to get as it is. And so spending like that money, and at least for me, I would sell myself to get a PS5 to play this. But yeah, a lot of people seem to agree with me and say like I wouldn't get a PS5 just for this DLC. But I think another factor in this is that for me personally, there's just not enough things that I'm excited about on the PS5. Like the state of play yesterday, aside from the Final Fantasy VII Remake stuff, there was almost nothing there that I really cared about. There's that one game that kind of looked a bit like Breath of the Wild kind of thing. Like Horizon Zero Dawn mixed with Breath of the Wild. I forgot what it was called, like, shit, I forgot the name. But I'm sure you guys saw it as well. But other than like the remake DLC thing, there isn't anything coming out anytime soon that's going to make me get a PS5. So I'm probably not going to be getting a PS5 to play this particular DLC. Yeah, Kena or Kena, I don't know how it's pronounced, but Kena, I'm not sure. I had to watch it on mute, so if they did say it, I didn't hear it. Because I was downstairs. Yeah, a lot of people saying I think there's going to wait. So, like I say, that's why I think it's an interesting move. Because it's just the user base for PS5 doesn't seem that huge right now because of all the supply shortages and that kind of stuff. And so there's a lot of us in the chat that don't have a PS5 yet. And I don't think that this is going to be the catalyst to get it just yet. I mean, for me, I need something like Horizon Zero Dawn 2 level, God of War 2, Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2. That's the sort of stuff I'm looking for to make me get a PS5. It's not going to be the Remake DLC. But in terms of will I play it and will it be on the channel, of course it will. And what I'll probably do is ask around and see if I know anybody that does have a PS5. I think my sister has a friend that has a PS5, so I might borrow his PS5. He's not a Final Fantasy guy, so I'll probably borrow that PS5 and then try to play it on there for like a couple of days and then give it back. So I will likely try to bring it to the channel, but we will see. Okay, so that's the PS5 and the Yuffie stuff. Now, obviously, one of the other things to talk about is the mobile stuff that they're doing. So before I move on to that, I think there was a Square Enix like news post about it. Let's just see if there's anything more definitive in this. Let's have a quick look through. It's the ultimate way to experience Midgar. Yeah. Did you catch the Yuffie reveal trailer? Is this the same one that we've already seen? Let me see. Yeah, I think it's the same one. Okay, fine. But I gotta say Yuffie's design is perfect. Yeah, a lot of people seem to like Yuffie's design. So how does this fit in with Final Fantasy VII Remake on PS4? It says it's an independent game for PS5. So the purchase of the PS4 version is not required. That said, if you already purchased it, you can download a free enhancement update. If your copy for PS4 is physical, you also need the standard disk drive version of the PS5 to claim your upgrade. So that's an important note here. That's this little note here. If you have a physical edition, but you have a digital-only PS5, then I don't think you can upgrade for free. That's how I've understood that. So I don't know. For me, I definitely get a disc drive PS5, but if you don't, it could be a problem. But I doubt most people would have a physical copy of the PS4 version and then buy a digital PS5 version, but I don't know. It's worth noting. The standalone release of Intergrade includes the new episode featuring Yuffie, so if you're just upgrading, you can purchase the episodes separately, so no worries there. If you're just upgrading, you can purchase the episodes separately, so no worries there. Does that sound like... Does that sound like it could be available for PS4? If you're just upgrading, you can purchase the episodes separately. Does that mean for PS4 people we can download it separately? What do you guys think? Yeah, it still seems it's probably PS5 only. Okay, we'll try and find that that other trailer. I think it might be the one that's in here. We'll go for that in a second. I'll try and find it. How does this... Will my PS4 save data? So yeah, you can carry over your save data. That's also a neat thing. As a reminder, if you copy the PS... So there is this physical versus digital PS5 version problem, but that's also going to affect your save... Wait. If you were to purchase digital, you can still transfer your save data. What are different versions available? Yeah, it sounds pretty official that it's PS5 only. I don't... It is a little bit confusing, but I'm pretty sure enough people have said that it's PS5 only, that I'm about 98% sure at this stage that it's PS5 only. The digital deluxe edition comes with digital mini soundtrack, including songs such as Descendant of Shinobi, and a digital art book with various concept and promotional art from production. I mean, the music for Final Fantasy VII Remake is so great that if you're into that kind of stuff, that's a pretty cool bonus. But there we go. So let me... it's not going to show up full screen on here. Let me go on Final Fantasy's own channel, see if I can find it. Here we go. So this is the... Let me play this one properly as well. I think this is the one that's more Yuffie focused. And then once we've watched this, we'll be able to move on to the mobile stuff. So we'll talk about that as well.
Cloud! Quickly! Barret!
Give me a break!
Jesse! Barret!
Where you been?
Tifa! Help me!
Come on, let's push it past the red line! Now it's my turn!
Got your lethal force right here!
A touching reunion.
Well, guys, your girl finally made it to Midgar. My name is Yuffie, materia hunter and elite special forces operative for the new Wutai government. We'll prove to our common enemy that Wutai is not to be trifled with. Members of Avalanche, we got this.
I'm back.
Ah, there you are. Someone's been expecting you.
What took you?
Sorry about that. Anyway, it's nice to meet you. I'm Sonon Kusakabe.
Where's Cloud?
We lost him.
You what?
He will be okay though, right?
Well, of course he will.
They're the ones who blew up the reactors.
Cool. Should we say hi?
No, better not. After what they've done, you gotta assume Shinra's on their tail.
Look, a Moogle! Stop!
We gotta help.
He really sounds like someone. I don't know who, but it's definitely familiar. Maybe a little bit like Arden, perhaps? I don't know. It's somebody. Yeah, the battling is very fast and furious for Yuffie stuff, which makes sense. She's a ninja after all. She all about that speed.
No freaking way!
Yeah, gotta have a big old mech battle, of course.
Boss!
Get wrecked!
I like the teamwork between the two of them as well
I
in
should
battle.
probably get moving.
Got it.
Whatever it is they're planning, you're better off out of it.
They deserve what's coming to them.
Yeah, they do, but I'm not your sister.
There you are.
Who are these jerks?
No clue. It just appeared.
Now, let the hunt begin.
So there we go. That is the trailer. That's the one that has much more of Yuffie in it. Just start this again. So first question is, who was that guy with her, that Sonon guy? Is he someone from like the Final Fantasy VII universe? Because I haven't played the compilation games. So I think he's a new guy, but I'm not sure. Have any of you guys heard of him before in like any of the novellas or like expansions? He's new. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it looks pretty fun so far, and it seems like, I mean, I did say that the episodes that they've released, like the DLC they've had so far for Final Fantasy games, is like 2-3 hours long, maybe a little bit more. But maybe you get a little bit more mileage for this one, because it seems to cover a fair few locations, and the final bit inside Shinra HQ and stuff as well. That's interesting. So maybe there is more to it. Maybe it's more like a 4 or 5 hour thing. Who knows? But we'll have to see. From Dirge of Cerberus. The last guy is Vice from Dirge of Cerberus. Again, Dirge is not one that I've played, so I can't comment too much, but if you guys say it is, I'm sure it is. But yeah, that's the deal. I mean, it's one of those frustrating things, because it looks promising to me, and I probably will be playing it if I can borrow that PS5, but for people that aren't able to get a PS5 right now, or don't want to just for a DLC, that's a bit of a shame. But it looks like it's going to be good fun. I mean, Yuffie, like to me, the design's on point, her energy's on point, the battle looks fun, and especially like with this Sonon guy, they seem to work well together as well. So this looks like it could be a pretty fun DLC, and I'll definitely be excited to play this one. I mean, they are trying to tide us over as best they can for Remake Part 2, and I'll have a bit more to say about that once we go over the mobile stuff as well. But at least we've got something for now. It's interesting because I've been saying for a long time, at least they should bloody just do some kind of battle DLC, like at least for the VR stuff that they have, the VR boss battles. Just give us like a new pack of bosses for that or something, just as an easy, quick DLC to be able to make. But these guys have gone ahead and done like a full-on episodic DLC. So people are saying that there's some people that are saying I wish they just got on with making Part 2, and obviously some people saying I wish that this was included in Part 2 anyway. But that's just how it is these days, unfortunately. Okay, I think in terms of the Intergrade part of it and the Yuffie DLC, that's all I've got to share. I wonder what this DLC's price will be. That's a good question. Does anyone remember how much the DLCs were for 15 if you were to buy them separately? It's probably like £10, £5, something like that. Probably 10. I don't know if like on PS5 DLCs are going to get a price bump as well, so like all the DLCs are going to be like 15. Probably going to be 20 bucks, says someone. I think the 15 ones were really cheap. I seem to remember them being fairly cheap, like I say, because they were short as well. I think that even the Arden one was like £5 or something. I don't know. Yeah, I think the 15 ones are fairly cheap. I mean, if this thing's literally like 5 or 10, I don't think it'll be 5. Definitely not 5, but maybe like 10 is probably okay. 15's DLC is like $6. I mean, to me that's fairly reasonable. The first DLC I think kind of sucked, the Gladio DLC, but the other ones were decent for like $6 a piece. I think it's not too bad, but obviously to each their own. Okay, so that's the PS5 stuff. Like I say, just as a final summary for me, I will be playing this DLC, but unlikely to be playing it with my own PS5. I'm going to try to borrow one and try to play it. It looks pretty exciting, and I'm definitely excited to see Yuffie in action. And I wonder if they're going to make any more DLC, because what we're going to see next for the mobile stuff indicates that there's still quite a long time to go before we get to Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. So let's move on to the next. Someone kind of sounds like Caius. He does. Yeah, I said Arden, but Caius is definitely a good shout. So I feel like he's definitely voiced a Final Fantasy character before, but I don't know who. Okay, let's just get this first soldier thing over and done with, because this was just kind of hilarious. So let's just watch this first, and then let's just briefly talk about this one. This was just like, what? I couldn't believe this. The reactions are brilliant. Oh my god. So there we go. That is the Battle Royale of Final Fantasy VII. I can't believe this. It's just hilarious. So yeah, obviously a lot of people are like, what the hell? Why? This is kind of silly. The comments were brilliant. But what I want to know is there anyone that even plays these sort of games like normally? So it might be like, I don't know, Fortnite or whatever. For someone who does play those sort of games, does this look appealing at all? Like, because I don't play those games anyway. To me, this is just like totally irrelevant to my interest. But is there anyone that does play these sort of games where you're like, actually, this looks kind of fun, I'd be interested in this? I'm not really into Battle Royale, but this might be it. Why do I kind of want to buy it? For fun. I feel like it might be one of those where like some people will definitely get in and have fun with it. I'd try it if it were on PC. I have 500 hours of PUBG. This doesn't seem like it'll work well. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to comment too much on it because I just don't care about the genre anyway, but it seems a bit weird. I think it'll do pretty well in countries where PUBG is popular. It seems pretty cheesy and convoluted. Yeah, it feels like it could burn out extremely quickly. It might have a little bit of hype when it's first released, but it could die pretty quickly, I think. Can you guys see the like dislike here? It's almost 50%. It's insane. They really are trying to milk it for everything it's worth. And I think this whole like the first soldier, wasn't this to do with like there was some trademark things announced like a few months ago about Square Enix applying for certain trademarks, and people were speculating about what it was. I spoke to Daryl from Final Fantasy Union, and when we were doing the podcast, I think he was the one that said like it could also be mobile games. They love their mobile games, and it could be related to that. And well, we've got 2 mobile games announced, so I think it's probably related to that too. It's so clearly a money grab. I like Battle Royale, so I'm definitely trying, but I wish I could use a controller. Okay, so we're not going to go too much into this. This is not my jam, and there's a lot of people in chat that really don't care. But once it does come out, I think the only thing I'm interested in is how quickly does it flop. Like, does it turn into a surprisingly successful project where people are still playing it like months later? Or does it become a total flop? That'd be kind of funny to see. But yes, they have created something like this. So this is the first of the mobile things that they're trying to do for Final Fantasy VII. And the final piece of the puzzle is actually something rather interesting. So we have Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. So once again, let's have a look at the trailer first, and then we'll talk about it, because this one is genuinely interesting. So let's get into that, and then we can start to round things off on this stream. Okay, let's go. Another possibility for a remake. There's no dialogue in this one. Ever Crisis looks low-key looks amazing. Yeah, I mean, this is like some sort of OG Final Fantasy VII mod or something. This just looks like a good mod to me. So they seem to have everything from the remake and like from the original game. Of course, no voice acting stuff that I can tell. I don't know if there's FMVs. That's one thing I don't think we saw. Yeah, it will come to Switch too. That's another thing I'm curious about. If this thing comes to Switch, that'll be big, and I think it definitely should. Yeah, the comments seem pretty positive about this one. This I like as a concept much more. Yeah, a lot of people missed this one as well because there was so much focus on the Yuffie stuff. I'm just wondering if the battle system's going to be the same. I don't know how the battles are going to work. Like, have they found a way to have the same system in mobile form, or have they got a different battle system in there? Yeah, they don't show much outside of Midgard. That's a good point. So I don't know if it follows the remake exactly, or if it's going to follow the main story. But there you go. So hold on, let me just stop that right there. This is the reason why it's especially taken my interest, because it features the entire compilation of Final Fantasy VII and more. So I never played Crisis Core, well, before Crisis, and Dirge. So for that reason, it sounds to me like if you play this Ever Crisis thing from start to finish, you will get to play the entire Final Fantasy VII experience. So I think that's kind of cool. And I don't know that's what it says about some other aspects, but that's definitely interesting to me. So there you go, Final Fantasy Ever Crisis, available worldwide in 2022. So even this stuff is going to start in a year's time. So let's have a look at the post about this one, the Square Enix post about it. Expanding the world of Final Fantasy VII on mobile. So forget the First Soldier. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Okay. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis coming in 2022. This is a chapter-structured single-player experience that covers the whole of the Final Fantasy VII timeline, including the events of the original game. So they love their chapters/episodic stuff, and to me, it's like, how long is this going to bloody take? Like, if you've got the entire original Final Fantasy VII story, you've got Crisis Core, you've got Dirge, you're mixing it all together. Like, how is this? Is it going to take like 5 years to get all the episodes out? They really want you to invest into this whole thing. And for me, the problem is that I got to start all the way from the beginning again and basically play through Final Fantasy VII from start to finish again to be able to get like the extras. So I'm interested in like the sort of remake version of Dirge and Crisis Core and that kind of stuff, but I have to play through the entirety of Final Fantasy VII to get to it. So it's going to take a very long time, and so it's going to be a bit of an interesting release program for it. Also, of course, for me, one of the main issues here is for years I've been crying for a Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core remake, and at this point I was like, they're probably going to integrate it into the Final Fantasy VII remake somehow. Like, I thought maybe some of the main story elements are going to appear in Remake Part 2 or something like that. But now that we've got Ever Crisis, I guess, does that put to bed any sort of hope of having a standalone Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core remake? Probably yes, I think. So that's, for me, that's bad news. But I guess there is no reason they couldn't bring this to like the Switch or to Steam and that kind of thing eventually. So if this was like available on Steam in its entirety, you could argue that this might be like the Final Fantasy VII completely faithful remake that people wanted. Another chance for a remake in the beginning. Yeah. Let me have a look at some comments. Kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy IV on Steam with the graphics. I hope it's free to play. I'm hyped for this. I'll go down to that bit in a second. There was a mention about that. I like the art style, changes in battle in the original game, yeah. It needs 10 years to complete remake. Yeah, it's going to be years. It's going to be a long time. But yeah, I don't know what this means for like the long-term future of Crisis Core. Is this the only way we're going to see Crisis Core like remade and Dirge? Possibly. I don't know. Now, let's have a little further read of this. So it includes all the events of the original game. So if you're the kind of person that, like me, when they announced the Final Fantasy VII Remake, I was just like, to be honest, what I love is just the original Final Fantasy VII literally just remade for the modern day. You know, keep the same story, keep things very similar, just update it. So basically like the first 90% of Remake Part 1. Basically just do it like that and just do that for like the rest of the story, and I'd be perfectly fine with that. But, I mean, it's been teased from very early on that they're going to potentially go a different direction, and it's like the unknown journey and all that kind of stuff. So if you look at it from that perspective, and the fact that they're releasing this sort of other remake, like mobile version remake kind of thing, well, one could say that they're releasing this for those people that are like, well, I just want a completely faithful remake to the original story. And then, well, for the actual like console actual remake, we're gonna take things a bit more of a different direction. So they're trying to perhaps give us the best of both worlds, where like the main remake might be different to the Final Fantasy VII we know and love, but if you don't like it, I guess you can always go back and play this sort of enhanced mobile version, remade version of Final Fantasy VII, including all of the extras like Dirge and Crisis Core as well. So that's how I'm seeing it at the moment. And of course, given that the chapters for this barely start in 2022, for me the prospects of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 even coming out in 2023, I don't know, like I think 2023 to me is pretty guaranteed. Like I cannot see this happening in 2022, but even 2023, I don't know. They could just give us like another episodic thing in 2022 for like Vincent or some shit, I don't know, or some other character, and make us wait like another year or so, I don't know. Now, one interesting thing here is that it says it also features new story elements penned by Final Fantasy VII Remake story and scenario writer Kazushige Nojima surrounding the founding of Soldier. Your guess is as good as ours for guest appearances, but we were in at the mere mention of Nojima. So yes, Nojima is of course a legendary writer for Final Fantasies. He's been involved in a lot of the greatest ones, so he's going to be involved again. I reckon there'll be another DLC in 2022 with the Final Fantasy 16 release, hopefully, and the remake late 2023. That sounds reasonable to me. Yes, in a Famitsu interview, they said there'd be a new chapter with young Sephiroth. That's interesting. This has become like the Star Wars of Final Fantasy. There's just so much spin-offs and so many different versions and all that kind of stuff. I just hope it doesn't become like just too much. I don't know. So the final thing they say, which is relevant, is both mobile games, The First Soldier and Ever Crisis, will be available on iOS and Android as free-to-play experiences with optional in-game purchases. So that's the final thing here. So there we go. That is the deal. This one is definitely much more interesting to me, and especially if it comes onto like the Switch, or it has a Steam release eventually, something like that, or a console version. I'd be very happy to give this a go. If this is going to be the sort of best way for me to potentially experience Crisis Core and Dirge, it might be a good thing for me to get into. But as you can see, it's really branching out now. We just had like, you know, the remake Part 1, and everyone's like, okay, remake Part 2. Now we've got the DLC, and we've got these two like offshoots. We've got the Battle Royale, and then we've got this Ever Crisis. And well, we're not even going to see 7 Remake Part 2 for at least another couple years, maybe more. So it's going to be very interesting to follow the progress of this stuff and see how it all goes. So I think that's all I've got for these updates at the moment. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I could show at this point? I don't think so. But yeah, let me have a final look through the comments before I sign off. Yeah, people saying Nojima's a bit of a mixed bag. He was involved in the Final Fantasy X novella, but yeah, I think you're right, KH. I think he was, but we don't talk about that. That doesn't exist anyway. And well, he was involved in Final Fantasy X, like the normal version. So you know. Someone said, I've also read Najima's books, and I'd expect he has something written about the start of Soldier 2. I never understood their fixation on mobile games. Why don't they release on Switch? The same reason I've never been able to play Crisis Core, never to be removed from stores. Yeah, I don't know, but I think that mobile games, it just clearly it must be working so well that they're making not one but 2 mobile games. So I can only imagine that if you look at it from a raw business perspective, it makes them a lot of money. So I think well, business-wise, I think they probably know what they're doing when it comes to that kind of stuff. Okay, so I think that's all I've got. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope you're excited about what's to come for the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I will see you guys for more content in the future. I actually have a video dropping today on the channel, a little special video that I've been working on, and I think it'll be a fun one, so look out for it. It's coming soon. So thank you all for joining me, and I will see you soon. Take care.